Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly episode of Vacuum Exposition. And what an episode it is today. Today, of course, is, well, the first episode we've had since Thanksgiving, Black Friday, as well as the chaos that ensues with those two holidays. Um, I'm glad you asked. My Thanksgiving was great, and my Black Friday was just as good. I decided to go ahead and go visit. We're in the last couple weeks of the last Sears store in the state of Washington. They close on the 15th of December. So me and my wife went ahead and drove up to the Tukwila, Washington store. And I did peruse their vacuum section, and I was very much hoping to bring home a machine and open it for you guys today. But unfortunately, they're not at the desperation point yet, whereas they dropped their prices down quite a bit. Canisters were still sitting at, somewhere around $260. And maybe if they were under 100, I might have considered it, but I really wanted the Kenmore Elite upright. But we will find one of those eventually because that machine is very important to me in and of itself because it is the last machine that we had in stores when I worked for Sears a few years ago. It has been a current staple, so they're still selling it in different stores and it's on Amazon as well. But I digress. Now, today's episode, we are going to take a look at Black Friday deals. Now, vacuum cleaners have been around, of course, for over 100 years, and a good portion of those years, we have seen them go on sale for Black Friday. Of course, it's been bigger in the 80s and 90s, all the way up through today, but either way, we're going to be taking a look at a really cool one today in honor of Black Friday. Now, because we are in the month of December, I'm sure as many of you may remember, last December I did a very special December where essentially I got a few machines for myself for Christmas every year, and I put them under the tree with big bows on them and everything. And this year is no different. So for the month of December, we will be looking at each of the machines that I have gifted myself, minus one of them, just because we just did a video on it. But we'll be looking at 3 different machines on each of the Sundays, today included. And I know what you're saying, Carl, we have 5 Sundays in the month of December this month, or this year. Well, that's a great point. I'm glad you said something about it because what I am prepared to do now, I have a couple of honorable mentions that almost made it to the tree skirt this year. So I'll be bringing those out the last couple videos. And on the 22nd of December this year, I will once again be uploading that video. But in addition to that video, I will show, a history of Constellation Carl's Christmas tree displays, which I do every year. Like I said, I put a bunch of machines under the tree with big bows on them, and a lot of people love to see the array of machines that I have just because they are so eclectic and all over the place. But either way, we'll get to that in a couple of weeks. So without further ado, let's get on to our video for today and take a look at another really, really cool one. All right, everybody. So we got a very cool one to look at today, and one that I had to bring out because of its popularity. Now, for those of you that have been watching my channel for the last few weeks or so, you may have remembered this machine. It was part of my Vacuums Rescued series. My good friend Jared from down in Eugene, Oregon, paid me a visit after he was parting ways with a good amount of machines. And this was one of the machines he bestowed upon me. He did say that he did have to get rid of a good amount of them, and this happened to be one. Now, this machine, when he did give it to me, he did say that it was quite a rare one, and quite a rare one indeed it is. Now, what we are looking at here is a 2003 Hoover Turbopower 4900 twin chamber soft guard upright. And I know that's a lot for us to talk about, but that leaves us a lot to talk about, which is great. Now, this particular machine hails from 2003, but this particular style and combination of accessories came around Y2K or 2000. Now, let's break this thing down, shall we? So, what we have up top here, this is the twin chamber bagless system Hoover came out with in about 1999 2000 time frame. Essentially, what this consisted of is you had a bin for collecting and a bin for filtration. And these were popular, and you saw them a lot on things like the Hoover M-Power, as well as different wind tunnels, as well as a few other assorted machines. But this is a very popular collection method just because previous to this, you saw mostly bagged machines. So you had a paper bag inside of either a hard case or even a soft bag case as well. But this was Hoover's new remedy for the filtration system. Now, you had your filter in the chamber itself, this big, long, tubular pleated filter. But then you also had a HEPA filter on the side here in order to, well, filter the air as it came out of the machine. That, like I said, is the exhaust essentially. So kind of like emissions for a car, if you will. But the Turbopower 4900 was very notable as being in black. For those that don't know the Turbopower machines, they were an exclusive variety that Hoover offered that had a myriad of different styles of machines that went all the way from the Elite down to the wind tunnel at the top of the line. This was about one of the second to third tiers down. And I'll show the ad for them right here, actually. But as you can see, they carried this color combination of black and gold primarily. You had Turbo Power 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, 9,000, 9,000 with the canister, I think. So they had a myriad of these machines that came out, but they were essentially a way of Hoover, well, trying to give you another zing word to get you to buy these machines that also emphasized the original line that they had that was being carried in their big box stores as well, such as the M-Power or such as the twin chambered variants that were not the Turbo Power. The Turbo Power was, from what I can tell, a very rare option, or maybe the exclusive option, kind of like the Supremacy series that Hoover came out with, that was a dealer specific type of line. But the Turbo Power name itself, now Hoover's did use the Turbo Power name previous to this, but they were all machines that you would have found in the United Kingdom, and they were actually our version of the Hoover Innovation. And I did a video on one of those a while back. If you get a chance, go back and take a look at that. Very fascinating machines, very ahead of their time, very, very fragile. Even the existing turbo powers that they have in the UK, as well as our innovations, are so fragile that they crack, they break, and then they get tossed, and that's why we don't see very many of them anymore. But I digress. Now, this machine, getting back to it, we have the Turbo Power 4900. As you can see, it's a twin chamber design. We have all of that great features in it of itself. Otherwise, this would have been essentially built off of the Elite platform, having the same rear wheels, motor, a whole bunch of other options like that. But you had the front, the soft guard system. This was essentially a vinyl rubber, big bumper that was on the front that was meant to protect your assorted furniture and baseboards and all that great stuff. Just so that you didn't have the vacuum marking up the wall, you more have the wall marking up the vacuum and avoiding any further damage to the house over the vacuum. The Soft Guard series came out in around the same time as the twin chamber design at around the 2000, 2001 mark. They came out primarily with bagged uprights, which was a pretty nice machine. And they, of course, had onboard tools and all this kind of great stuff. But this particular system wasn't the most famed. I know a lot of these did get very damaged just because, like I said, they're a soft guard. They're a soft bumper that goes on the front. They're meant to take the hit rather than the wall take the hit. So I've seen some of these that got really marred up, and generally speaking, people ended up tossing them just because they got beat up and ripped apart. And you didn't really want a machine that, well, you couldn't get the bumper for after a few years, and you didn't want one that looked, well, pretty ratty. So that particular feature is actually pretty interesting to me just because, well, you essentially had this big soft thing on the front that was meant to take the impact, and essentially make everything okay when it came to the wall and the vacuum, in a way. Now, you did, of course, still have the edge cleaning protection. So you had these little fingers that were on the side here, that would, instead of having a wall against where the suction would be to, the wall or anything like that, you had an open chamber that would sweep things in from the side as well, which gave way to the brush roll, which is the same thing out of a Hoover Elite. And we'll get into a little bit more of the similarities in a second here. But overall, the Turbopower 4900 is a very interesting machine, just because it did have all these new features. It had a big, wide headlight lens in the front, which I've never had one of these before. So looking at one, having it up close, and just kind of taking a good look at it, the headlight lens is very similar in shape, anyways, not in size, but to the old Ranger hooded Hoover convertibles. I've looked at a few of them on the channel here. Not very many of them, though. They're not very easy to find, but either way, I have had many of them in the past, but either way, it is a kind of an interesting head nod. Of course, another interesting feature is that where the carry handle is up here, you had the big Hoover logo, which I know a lot of these twin chamber soft guard machines did have that as well, but just kind of an interesting little addition on there as well. Now let's take it around to the back here real quick. Now, here's where we have a lot of the similarities between an Elite and this particular machine. Of course, for those that know Elites, they know this backbone essentially is all Elite. They know these back wheels, Hoover Elite. They know that the tool caddy, Hoover Elite, as well as a few other things, switch and different things like that. Very, very reminiscent of the Hoover Elite. But I did want to talk about everything on the back. Now, when I got it from Jared, unfortunately, it didn't have any of the attachments or extension wands, but being as that this machine was released around the same time as the wind tunnel, I had a spare wind tunnel that I gotten recently for free, that had all of its attachments. So after a couple of borrowed attachments, we have a full set. The only thing that I am missing now, as you can see, we have a extension wand right here, as well as a crevice tool. This is not the original crevice tool that would have come with this. This is a very similar extension wand that would have come with it. But this machine, as well as things like the M-Power and others that came out around this time, had a very long crevice tool that would have actually gone to about this length from here, of the extension wand, and would have gone just down in, and would have kind of sat, with the lip up here. I unfortunately don't have one of those. If anybody out there does have one in kind of this like tan gray color that does work in this, please let me know, because I really, really need one for this machine. I also need, for those that don't know very much about these machines, they had a cap that went on the end of the handle here, and unfortunately that cap has gone missing at some point in its life. So if you happen to have like one of the more common versions as a parts machine that maybe you have like the attachments or something, please, please, please let me know, because I would very much like to make this machine 100% complete, all of its attachments and everything. Because in the meantime, I'm just putting the crevice tool out of a wind tunnel. I'm just kind of sticking it inside this extension wand for now, just so that it has one with it that kind of matches the look of the machine. But As it is right now, it does have a complete set of tools so that it can be used to do pretty much anything. And can do anything, it can, because I used this machine for a little while after I got it all cleaned up after Jared dropped it off. And I am impressed. I really like these. I mean, those early 2000s cyclonic machines that Hoover introduced, not all of them were the greatest of designs, but they're just kind of kooky and kind of fun to use. And this being one of the greater ones. So, but that is the Hoover Turbopower 4900. There was a lot of interest in this off of that Vacuums Rescued episode. Many people asked about it. So I figured, why not start off the month of December strong with this really cool elite-based cyclonic machine. So now bringing it back to my original point at the very beginning of the video, I wanted to highlight Black Fridays. And that's kind of the reason why I was trying to figure out what to do for this video came from. Now, I'll show the ad that I am referring to right here. Now, as you can see, one of these type or style uprights is in a Black Friday Target ad. It's hard to tell if it's a Turbopower 4900 or just one of the regular twin chamber soft guard uprights. But that's what reminded me of this, because you would have seen this in a Black Friday ad in 2003, 2001, 2, or 3, or that time frame, just because this was Hoover's hot item. They were what they're considering their flagship as, and it was a very important machine to them at the time. Regardless if it was the turbo power version or something else, who knows, or even just the wind tunnel with this system, this was Hoover's newest innovation, no pun intended. But this is a really cool machine. I'm really glad that people showed a lot of interest in this, because I was actually really taken aback when I got it, and now I'm just absolutely in love with the dang thing. So let's get on to our run demo for today and see how this thing does on the floor.
All right, everybody, so we have the Hoover Turbo Power 4900 from 2003 with its twin chamber capture system, as well as soft guard bumper on the front, all plugged in and ready to go. As I said in the past, you won't be seeing very much of me because I do want you guys to notice more of the vacuum. So let's get this thing all turned on and we'll take a look at how this thing does. And just like that, this thing did a fantastic job on the floor once again. I'm always shocked at how well these elite-based machines do on the floor, and well, this one did not disappoint. So I hope you all enjoyed our little run demo.
Well, everybody, I am so thankful that you guys tuned in today. This is a really cool machine, and it was certainly very fun to get it out and run it across the floor again. Many apologies that the headlight has not been replaced. I still need to order some, and this is one that is on my list to get a new one. But either way, the Turbo Power set is a really cool one. I'm still hoping to find a couple more out of it, just so I can make a cool little display at some point. But either way, this one performed great and did very well on the carpet. Of course, I do know that it still needs a few little cosmetic things like the headlight and stuff, but all things like that aside, this is a really, durable machine, and I'm kind of sad that we don't see a lot of these types of things anymore, because, well, when I was growing up and I saw these machines out on the floor or in the magazines and whatnot, I didn't think too much of them. They just looked like big pieces of plastic. And at the time, my interest was, well, they was more towards convertibles and Kirby's and things like that. So, kind of wishing that I had saved more of them, honestly. But either way, this one is a really, really cool machine. And like I was saying earlier in the video, stay tuned for this month because, of course, I'm going to be doing videos on the assortment of machines that I am putting under my Christmas tree, as well as I will be showing you guys off some more of my Christmas trees from the past. Um, and I always like digging out those pictures, and I know a lot of people really liked that last year. So, but if you guys want me to keep looking for stuff like this, please let me know. But thank you all again for watching, and we will see you again next Sunday, same time, same guy, same place, different vacuum or vacuums. And have a great rest of your day, y'all.